Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm Tyler Boronski. You're watching my YouTube channel where I'm sitting down with recognizable faces in entertainment. Today's guest, he's the CEO of the bottle company IceShaker, the host of the Gronked Up podcast, former NFL player, and dare I say, TikTok star? He's Chris Gronkowski. Chris, do you want to confirm or deny that?
Man, it's been pretty cool to see. It's definitely gave me a lot more recognition in public, man. It's kind of crazy. Even with a mask on, people are like, hey, what's up, Chris? And I'm like, man, it's crazy. But I guess when people see your face all the time, it's a lot different than being like an athlete with a helmet on.
So you have noticed the impact. I was going to ask that the impact having a TikTok following has had on your personal brand and maybe your business ventures as well.
Yeah, it's been huge, man. The exposure is real. When I first joined it almost seemed like the numbers were fluff or like it was fake. And it's not the case at all. It's the real deal. It's being seen by millions of people if you do it right and you bring value. And we see our website spike. I've had people come in and be like, hey, what happened on this day? And I'm like, well, I just put out a TikTok about my business and we had 30,000 views to our website. So the power of TikTok's incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah. Check out Chris. He does a lot of videos, like you said, just answering questions about your business ventures, your NFL career. So kind of a quick Q&A session. They're fun ways to do it.
It also challenges me. It makes you get creative as well. And you need that throughout the day.
We were talking right before this about starting to do Clubhouse a little more. How do you feel about the potential with that app?
I think the potential is there. I think it's going to take a little bit to really grow to make it worth people's time. I mean, it's still so early. It's a little bit confusing and it's a little bit hard to navigate right now. So I think that pulls a lot of people off of the app at first until they really figure out how it works. But if the first time you go in, you're not impressed, you're probably not going to come back. So I think they need to clean it up a little bit. And then I think we'll see a big explosion on that app as well.
Yeah, I like it for the most part, but I worry about a couple things with the fact that anyone can make a room. So who's credible, who's not? If you know the names, obviously, then it's easy. It's like, oh, wow, I get to be in the room with Elon Musk or stuff like that. But the fact that anyone can deem themselves an expert, I think they'll need to figure that out. They might need to add some sort of like verification thing like all the other apps. So I'm not sure. They got to figure that out, in my opinion.
I agree, man, because anyone could walk in there right now and say whoever they want to say they are. There's absolutely no way of verifying that.
I do got to ask a quick football question because we're only been like a week and a half since the Super Bowl for your family. Are we still in celebration mode? Like, how long does the celebration last after another Super Bowl win for the Gronkowski fam?
And after the parade, it's more like recovery mode. So for me, I left the next day and I missed the parade, but yeah, the next day for me, I called it Victory Monday for myself.
There you go.
I obviously didn't play in the game or anything like that, but I got on a flight at 7 a.m. after the after party. And I'm not sure how I made the flight, but I did. And I needed to sleep pretty much the whole next day.
What is the day like for you, for your family on the Super Bowl day? Obviously Rob's playing, but for you guys as a family, you're anxious, I'm sure, as well. So take me through what the day is like on the Super Bowl as a spectator with knowing someone on the field.
Man, it's exciting. It really is. Your blood's pumping too. It's almost like, it's kind of like game day for you as well. And I had to go get a workout in. So I actually met up with one of our gym partners out in Tampa, and I got a pump in, man, early in the morning at like 11 a.m. And at that point, I was just getting ready for the game. I like going super early, especially to a Super Bowl, because the lines are just crazy. It's hard to park. Everything's just insane. So I think I got there about 4 hours early to the game. Incredible accomplishment to go somewhere else, whole new team, no offseason, all new players. And you just saw them transform over the year. They went 7-5 into the bye week, and they finally just clicked, got it all together. And you saw that chemistry in the second half, and all that hard work and just dedication to the game paid off at the second half of the year.
I want to get into some of your entrepreneurial ventures post playing the NFL. That's kind of when a second half of your life, in a way, being a CEO, being a business owner. People know you best known for IceShaker, but really it started with your wife's company, Everything Decorated, known for custom gifts. I read that you started doing that your season in Denver. When you haven't done it before, haven't been through that process, when you first started off, what do you remember the first steps for you and your wife needing to take?
Baby steps, man. I tell people to start as a side hustle. If you want to get into something, first prove that it's worth your time. If you work a full-time job, you still have 8 hours left in the day to do something else. So, do something, pick something you love doing, you're passionate about, and try to find a way to make money on it. And that's always been my suggestion. So I started everything off small. My wife's business might've cost, I think, $500 to start or something like that. The cost of the LLC plus maybe a vinyl cutter or something like that. And then, it was the same way with IceShaker. It was a little bit more upfront because I went a little bit bigger on it, but I had to get some product in, and it wasn't like I spent millions of dollars doing this or just gave up on my other job or anything like that. It started as just a side thing. I was actually shipping the product out of this room. And now it was all stored up here on my first order. So that's how I started it. That's how I remember it as well. It was kind of, let's do this. Let's make sure there's traction there. Let's make sure it's as cool as everyone, for everyone else as I think it is. And then at that point, that's when I would go all in on something. So just take it slow and make sure that you know what you're doing, you have the funds for it, and that it just grows organically at first.
So you helped her with that company, but then 5 years later you really found your own passion with starting up IceShaker, went on Shark Tank for it. They all loved you there. You worked with Mark Cuban and then A-Rod. They invested and put their own money into your product. After the show for Shark Tank, what advice did they give you in terms of helping market and just grow the brand of IceShaker?
Afterwards, man, it's not like they come in and they bring a consultant in and like start running your business or anything like that. It's still all on your shoulders for the most part. So I would just reach out for small things to ask help with. What's great about Mark is he had 60, 70, 80 other companies that I could reach out to and just say, hey, I'm part of the Mark Cuban portfolio. They told me you're really good at SEO, or you're really good at email marketing or Facebook marketing, whatever it was. Could you help me out? Could you give me some guidance? And I'll jump on a phone call with, the head of marketing for that company or the CEO or whoever it was. And, just get an unbiased opinion about these things that I needed help with. So it was more just a really, really good networking channel and guidance for me that I was getting from people that have been in the portfolio for, 5, 6, 7 years before me. So that was huge. And some of them even reached out to me right when I signed and just said, hey, I'd love to get on the phone with you. I love talking to all the Cuban companies. We just love helping each other out. So that was really cool to be a part of and definitely helped out a lot. But then you don't just sit back and like chill on a private island while your company makes money. After Shark Tank hits, the profits in the sales probably 20x overnight, but so does the work. And when it's a side hustle, there's a lot to figure out really fast as an entrepreneur when something like that happens. So a lot of good with it, but a lot of work with it as well.
Speak about that work a little bit, because as an entrepreneur, those that have been in it, it starts off as a lot of lonely nights, a lot of solo work in a sense. What do you remember about some of your early days of just you alone in a room trying to figure out this brand, this company?
Man, there's a lot of, I would say 3 a.m.s, man. I would wake up at 3 a.m. sometimes, and it was just throw a headset in. I'd listen to some podcasts. I had one of my favorites was the MFCEO project with Andy Frisella, and he'd just sit there and talk about like how you have to grind to do the monotonous and just build it up and figure out the processes. And I would just sit there like, man, this is all going to pay off one day. And so there was a lot of 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. mornings where I had to just get in there and get the work done. And work didn't bother me. I was happy to work 80-hour weeks. What really slowed me down and actually helped me was having kids. I had to then find ways to build a team instead of just doing all the work myself. And at the end of the day, the biggest mistake most entrepreneurs make is that they try to put too much on themselves, and they're actually hurting the company. You can't grow. There's only so much time in a day, so you can't grow when you put it all on yourself. And I was kind of stuck in that for a little bit, and having kids kind of forced me to get out of that and build a team around myself that wins championships. I kind of structured it after the NFL, and I've learned a lot from that, a lot about teamwork, and I'm finally putting that in place now with my business.
Yeah, you mentioned you kind of taking the same mindset now. What other similarities do you see between entrepreneurship and life in the NFL, if at all?
Oh, it's the same thing, man. Yeah. You put hard work in, you grind, you're going to be successful. One thing I tell people all the time that I learned was just time management, especially in college. As a college athlete, like, you don't realize it until you're done with it, and you look back, you're like, man, how did I do that? But every second of your day is either school, full-time student, man. Usually, they're spending all their time just going to class and studying and doing projects and getting ready for tests. But we were also full-time athletes at the same time. So you really had to figure out how to get things done efficiently and also be successful at them. So to come out with a high grade point average and also be successful in football, it was just something that it was a skill. It was really a skill that I had to learn. It kind of just was forced to learn. So once you learn that, you just bring that right into the business world. And time management is a lot easier when you don't have, I guess, 2 full-time jobs and one of them extremely physical as well. So I think that was huge. I think that taught me a lot, and it got me prepared to be an entrepreneur.
Love it. I'll wrap it up here. You mentioned now you've been building your team for IceShaker as well, knowing you need to build resources. As someone played for bosses before, you've had the head coaches and presidents, and now you're looked at as a boss with your company IceShaker. People go to you for guidance. What makes a good boss?
Man, yeah. I think a good boss gives responsibility to their employees and lets them run with it. That was something I struggled with that as well. I had a hard time doing it. You feel like you can do it the best and no one else can, but at the end of the day, they can do it. And especially if you help them and you train them the right way, sometimes they can do it a lot better than you can as well. And, you can't fathom that at first in your mind because it's your baby, you built it, and you think you know how to run it the best way that you can. But once you give them that responsibility and you let them manage it, it's incredible what they can do. And they're now a part of it. They're invested in it. They're a part of the team, and they feel appreciated. So I think a good boss gives that responsibility up. He's still there for guidance. He's still overlooking it, overseeing it, suggesting stuff, but you let them run with it, and you let them create ideas, and you let them have their own budget, and you let them be a part of it.
He's Chris Gronkowski, CEO of IceShaker, host of the Gronked Up podcast, former NFL player, and like I said, he's a TikTok star now. So Chris, thanks so much for the time. I appreciate it, bro.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.